Sam Chandler joins us for an exciting episode of Shack Together. Today we are all about Frostpunk 2, Dead Rising, Deluxe Remaster, Pokémon vs. Palworld, a lawsuit, finally, Ryan Cohen, what's he been up to, and much more, including F-099's one-year anniversary, the Plucky Squire, we've got numbers, we've got a review, Castlevania Dominus Collection, a review, Tiny Glade, a review, NBA 2K25, a review, plus some personal anecdotes there, Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, a review, and we've got impressions on a few games too, including Microsoft Flight Simulator 24, Dragon Age the Veilguard, some news on Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, insane, Diablo 4, pulling in big money, AMD and Sony hooking up for the next console, and much more. Thanks for being here. Here we go. Let's kick it off.
Joe, we have a ticker here, right? Like, we have a ticker, right?
We have a, proprietary Shack News ticker. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Occasionally you check in on it. You let me know if the kids are still calling it the Shack News Extended Podcast, or the CPOO, right? So usually... Yeah,
that topic is perpetually just feeding into it.
So what if I told you that I actually found some other ticker news out there, and it's about my favorite movie, the Super Mario Bros.
Okay.
So, like, one of my favorite scenes in that movie, and I just realized my mic this is where my mic should be. I just realized.
Nice.
So, the Super Mario Bros. Movie has, one of my favorite scenes is when you see Mario's room early on in the film. You guys know that scene, right? And there's like an F-Zero poster in the background. There's a pro wrestling poster. Did you know there are even more video game references on the television broadcast he's watching?
No, I didn't know that.
So, get this. There is a reference on the ticker in the news broadcast that he's watching that says, like, space signal received from space solar system FS176. And, you know, just
what is FS1? What is that?
That's a great question, Sam. I'm glad you asked. It's a Metroid reference. There's a Metroid reference in the ticker of the Super Mario Bros. Movie for like half a second. You would have missed it if you weren't watching YouTube shorts and seeing some random think piece video about it. But Wait, there's more.
Okay.
There's a Wave Race reference on the same ticker. It says, R. Hayami wins Wave Race championship despite average stats. And that's like a really, really, really deep cut.
That's funny.
Because, I don't know, John, if you remember.
I do remember.
That player is like very average, but average at everything. And
he was fine.
And it's kind of like the Gold Fox in F-Zero or whatever. Like, it's the one that's like average at everything, but actually pretty good overall. So,
sure.
Those are two references that I completely missed until my 58th viewing of this movie. But also, there is an Ultra Hand reference in his room as well. He has a poster that's like next to the pro wrestling poster that says Ultra Hand. And I don't know if you saw that, the Miyamoto Museum reveal, John, but like,
I did, yeah.
They're like embracing Ultra Hand as like one of their things, right? Like they're very proud of Ultra Hand. And like Ultra Hand, for the folks at home or people who weren't alive in the 60s, it was like those like the grabby things, like those extendo hands, which they went on to put in The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. You know, the ability to build things and everything. So I thought that was kind of neat. There's an Ultra Hand reference, a Metroid reference, and a Wave Race reference in Mario's bedroom. And I'm sure there's more than I missed.
How many times have you watched that movie for you to get that now? You know what I mean? Like a year or two, a couple of years later.
Oh,
right?
it's over 50. I've watched it over 50 times.
Crazy.
I had it going like, because when it came out, it was just like on in my house. I love ignoring the actual film. Like, I love the audio design and the music in that movie. So it's like one of those things I could just leave on.
Sure.
But yeah, like I did see a YouTube short that kind of hinted at some of these things. Like, hey, did you miss this? And I was like, yes, I did. And then I went in and I watched it again. And I was like, my God, that room. All I'm saying is that like this is the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Like Mario's bedroom is laying the groundwork for everything. Star Fox exists in that universe. Wave Race exists in that universe. F-Zero exists in that universe. Kid Icarus, he's playing it, right? So like you have the next 30 years of Mario or Nintendo movies just in his bedroom. But yeah, I'm excited that there's a Metroid reference in that, because like that was one of those things that definitely felt like it was missing.
Sure.
obviously there's the Punch Out Pizzeria, and there's multiple Duck Hunt references in the movie. I don't think there's a Gyromite reference, but like there's just so many old school Nintendo IP that they have like not just references to, but like reverence for. And yeah, like that's cool that there's like just a little hint about Samus Aran in just on the news feed of all things. And I figured as a show that has a ticker, Joe, that you might find this ticker news interesting.
I love a good ticker. What I don't love, and I'm sure Sam's in the same headspace, is that in the Mario universe, that version of Earth doesn't seem to be practicing Dark Forest theory, which is a shame. And then that's a deep cut for some listeners. Namely Sam, who's also...
I will say that is a deep cut.
Love that.
Damn.
Yeah, it's very concerning.
Well, you know, it's a pretty light, happy movie, right? Although that scene was kind of dark,
true.
so it would fit in there. Anyway,
Poor guy. Let's kick off this freaking show.
there you go. You're listening to Shack Together, a Shack News video game podcast where if you're not together, you're a listener. I'm your host, Asif Khan, and today I am joined by my co-host, John Benyamine. Hey.
Hello. Hi.
I'm also joined by our producer, Joe Stasio.
Hello.
And I'm gonna give you the promotion here, Sam. You're head of guides, Sam Chandler.
Hey, thank you. Hello.
Sam messaged me last week. He's like, "Hey, am I still guides editor?" I was like, "No, you're head of guides now. It doesn't mean anything, but you're head of guides now."
Look, I'll take it. Thank you.
Because we have other people.
Badge.
We have other people writing guides, right? So it's like, yeah, you can be a guides editor at Shack News, but no, you're head of guides. There you go. Congratulations. Nice. It's
Thank
a meaningless title.
Wow. Well, no, now you have the acronym HOG, which is lights out, A+. So
That is pretty awesome.
Oh, look, it's fitting.
I think
What can we
HOG.
say?
Damn, I didn't put two and two together. That's why you're the producer, Joe. Congratulations on that. But yeah, speaking of titles, but yeah, Sam, you know, we bring you here on this podcast because we talk about video games and we want to talk about what you've been playing. So what have you been playing?
Great question. We have been, I've been dabbling in things like Hunt Showdown 1896, a little bit of Black Myth Wukong, some Spectre Divide, but recently Frostpunk 2. That's been quite cool.
So tell me about all the ways you failed in the city trying to build a civilization.
Let's just put it, I failed the prologue. So that was cool. That was a humbling experience. I put in my review that, like, I'm not great at city management games. Like, it's not one of my skills. Because there's a lot of, like, planning, thinking ahead. I'm more of an in-the-moment sort of gamer. And so to fail the prologue was a real humbling experience. But I doubled down, started back up, and actually made it through. But just that whole game, I felt like I was on the cusp of failure for the entire campaign. I felt like I was constantly trying to, like I just had enough resources to get by in what I needed to do. And then when I was feeling like, okay, like we're getting a little bit of a good surplus here, the game would be like, all right, cool, you're doing well. Next chapter, you're exploring the frozen, barren wasteland. Start sending your people out. And then people were getting pissed off. And then factions were starting to get angry at one decision while another faction was praising the decision that I made about what to do with the dead bodies. And another faction was upset that I wasn't using air filters in some machinery. And so my people were growing, like, you know, basically civil war broke out and I had to call in my guards. It was a whole thing. But it felt good to be constantly teetering on the, you know, brink of collapse and pulling through.
That sounds great. Yeah, you know, I think it's just part of the city builder, like Civ kind of experience, Sam, to have these catastrophic moments that are kind of, they're part of the game and they're kind of emergent gameplay moments. I think they make the experience more memorable, even if you do fail. Like, it's hilarious. Like, I don't know, reading through your review, boy, could I relate. It sounded like me playing most of those games, or even like some of the failings I've had in like a City Skylines, right? It's like normally like that kind of moment would be deflating in some games, but I feel like it's the challenge of Frostpunk, and what sounds like Frostpunk 2's challenge also. Like, that's not an easy game. It's not an easy game at all, and the environment is very difficult.
Yeah, and if the game manages to do this thing where it pushes you just enough, where it just pushes you just close enough to the edge that you can definitely see the imminent collapse of your civilization, and then it'll be like, hey, you know what? Why don't you just like grease the palms of this faction who are really pissed off? So I'd give them some money to fund one of their projects, and they'd be like, oh, okay, all right, well, we don't want to exile you anymore, steward, so that's fine. I'm like, well, thank you for that. But then another faction was like, why does he keep giving them money? And it's like, because they hate me and I'm trying to make them happy. You guys like me, what do you want?
The delicate balance of bribing factions.
Yeah, I felt like an actual politician. It was good.
Yeah, it has like a Tropico feel to it a little. Like, you know, it's obviously Tropico is more like a dictator simulator, but there's an element
that's the interesting.
Of like,
Yeah. Well, that's the interesting thing with Frostpunk 2 is that you're not. It's not a totalitarian regime. You don't just get to make decisions and rules and laws. You have to put it to a council vote. And so these factions that have been, you know, you've been trying to please, you have to go in, and some of them will vote along your trajectory of what you want, whereas others will be against it, and so you have to negotiate with them and make promises. And some of the promises are like, I promise to research this particular sort of technology, or it's you know, when the next council session comes around, I will vote and ensure we pass a law stipulating that workers have a right to, I don't know, have some time off in the afternoon or whatever. And so you make those promises, and then it cycles back around to the next council meeting, and you're like, okay, well, I need a vote for that. And if I don't, that's going to piss them off, and they're going to get angry. And if they get angry, that could snowball into a very big problem whereby they might shut down production in one of the districts, and which will inhibit your ability to get some resource, which you might be needing to manufacture goods in another settlement, because that settlement needs to be able to dig up resources to send back to your main town. So it's just this.
And I, in your review, you mentioned how you made like 2 promises to 2 different factions, and you realized like later on that you couldn't do both.
Oh yeah, that was good. Yeah, literally, they wanted opposite things.
Yeah, and like at different meetings with them, you're like, sure, and then you like 2 weeks later, you're like, oh god, what have I done?
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I think the amount of decision making required in this game, and then also the intricacy of it just. That sounds awesome, and I really enjoyed Frostpunk 1. It's hard, but I like these kinds of games, and it's like it feels like it's like a survival city builder more than it is like a, you know, like one of those dictator simulators. But it's very cool. And that got what'd you give that, a 9 out of 10?
Yeah, I think I gave it a 9.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Cool.
I really liked it.
Yeah. So
I do like those kinds of like city management games, and then I spend way too much time on them, and then I'm like, what have I done for 40 hours? But actually, no, City Skylines, like, it's awesome. It's like a fun time, but it gets so complex. So I'm curious about this one. Like, you know, it sounds pretty awesome. Tropico is one that I spent a lot of time on. So if I like you know, those types of games, it sounds like this one would be one to check out.
Yeah, it's just the environment is really challenging in this, I would say, compared to like cities. You know, it's kind of like a canvas, and if you run out of money, you run out of money. But like this is like from the jump, you do not have many resources, so it's like it's a little different. But the first, I'm speaking more about the first game than the second one. But yeah, I'm gonna try this out. This is only on PC right now, Sam.
Yeah, it seems that it is only on... Oh, actually, sorry, I think I misspoke. I'm pretty sure it's coming to Xbox and PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it is. I believe it's out now for PC, but it's not coming... It's not out on consoles yet. I saw some people complaining about that, but, you know, whatever.
Okay. It might have been early access on PC. I'm not quite too sure.
It's out. It's out. It's out on PC. It's just not. I don't know if they've even given us a console release date yet, but it's. I know it's coming. Yeah, it's 3.5 months after the game came out on PC. So they're mad about that, but whatever.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I mistakenly thought it was the same date.
Nope. Yeah, you got PC out now, and then next year it's coming to consoles. And these games are better played on PC, honestly, with a mouse, in my opinion. But yeah, but like I play City Skylines on my Switch, so like they figured that people have figured out ways to make these games playable on consoles. They're just still better played on PC though.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
And
cool.
in terms of game length, the campaign itself, it could take you maybe 8-10 hours to get through the campaign. So it's like you're not going to be necessarily sitting there for 40 hours if you don't want to, if you got other things that you need to do. But they also have like a Utopia Builder, which is just an endless city builder mode, and you can select which parameters you want the victory condition to be and work toward it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So that's like giving you the infinite money mod, but just as part of the game.
Well, not necessarily infinite money, because it isn't. Instead of following a campaign, it's all right. You go build your city. You do have limited resources, and here's the win conditions for this one-shot city if you want.
Well, that's a weird definition of utopia.
Yeah. But
That's
I guess
cool.
in a barren, frozen wasteland, utopia
It does sound like heaven, I
yeah.
Things
You
are
let your
relative.
definition-
It's
exactly.
a relative. It's a relative utopia. I get
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah,
that
we
makes
haven't
sense.
had to eat bread for a week. We got to have a little bit of meat. Don't know where the meat came from, but we got to have it. So
Oh boy.
Yeah.
We don't want to get into that at all on this here podcast.
Gross.
So moving on to the other folks here. John and Joe, you're playing NBA 2K25. We're going to just...
As a spoiler alert, NBA 2K25 is the same as NBA 2K15.
Jesus.
I mean, what is going on? But
It feels that way, doesn't it? I feel like 21, like that first PlayStation 5 one, John, was like kind of a boost. But then, like, yeah, it's been the same for 4 years. I just mean graphically. Gameplay-wise, you're dead right. It's the same game.
it's the same, and like graphically, I can't tell a difference. There's some like
There
they
was
have
a
fan
jump.
cam. There's a dance cam now,
There's a dance
and there's
game.
like a whole dance routine that I unfortunately Joe had to suffer through because I wasn't gonna like skip it. You know, you both have to skip, but like it was the first new thing I saw in 2K for like for 8 years.
There's some dev that
I
their whole
watched it.
job was that dance routine. So
It's true. It's literally the only thing that's changed. So I'm like, hey, let's watch the Nick City dancers. Well, it's not even, but it's some sort of breakdancing routine.
I'm sure it's the same for every team too. So
I'm sure.
that's nice.
It was nice. It was good fun playing NBA 2K and
Next versus
getting
next.
walloped.
I've got a question. I don't play sports games. The last sports game I played was probably a soccer game on Nintendo 64.
Or Rocket League.
Yeah, or Rocket League, but I think that's a bit of a stretch calling that. I'm talking like basketball, football.
You're talking about like sports simulation games. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
There's
exactly.
no real rocket car soccer. I get it. There should be, but there's
Not yet. Yeah,
It should
not
be,
yet.
but
We're
unfortunately
working
there's
on
not.
Yeah.
So what I don't understand is that each year these games come out and the fans are like, well, it's kind of exactly the same. And in my mind, because again, I'm ignorant, so please explain this to me. What do gamers hope changes year to year? Because I feel like once you get the fundamentals done, I feel like once you get like the fundamentals of like the graphics and then the strategies and the teams, you know what's coming each year because the teams are going to be changing. What fundamentally do you want different year to year for these?
So,
I don't
Joe,
know.
do you want to take
I
this
don't
one,
understand.
or
I'll
there's
jump
so
on
much
this
to
first.
complain about? Yeah, go
I'll
ahead.
jump on this first, and I'm gonna kind of view this broadly, like very broadly, Sam. These games have been an attempt at simulation from the jump, from like the 8-bit, 16-bit era. So if you've been playing sports games since Tecmo Bowl, or like Magic versus or Jordan versus Bird, or like NBA Live 95, like there were material graphics and gameplay jumps for decades where you're like, oh my god, there's like playbooks now in Madden, or there's like You can call a pick and roll. Remember, John? Like that was a thing.
Yeah,
like
sure,
being able to call a pick and roll play in basketball in a video game was like a big deal for a while.
Deal. Yeah.
And now it's like we're 10 years removed from almost all of those things being feature complete. But the problem is you're sitting with two games in the case of Madden and in the case of 2K, whatever, NBA 2K, where it's not really a simulation. It's not even close. It's actually been, you could argue that they've removed themselves from simulation. It's not even arcadey. It's just
not arcadey. Yeah. Like
it's just weird.
It's not arcadey. It's just, it's not fun. And I think
we want it to be fun and we want it to feel real. And when I throw a pass in Madden and it gets tipped 4,000 times in the air and then intercepted, that does not happen in real life, right? Or like when I fumble a ball in Madden and because the physics engine's broken, the ball shoots 20 yards up in the air and 50 yards behind me and then they recover a touchdown. Like those kinds of glitches happen way too often in these games. And in the case of NBA 2K, there's like this glitch. You can steal inbound passes. It's been in that game for like 20 years. And it's just like, it's not realistic. People don't just pass to the other team. Like improved AI, improved teammate AI, improved opponent AI. I think those are two things that would make simulations of both of these games better. But also like, because they're both basically monopolies, they are not incentivized to improve their games. And instead, they focused most of their development efforts towards these microtransaction focused modes. So in the case of 2K, God, they put that everywhere. The virtual currency is like everywhere in that game. And then in the case of Madden, it's that ultimate team thing where I can't build a team of creative player freaks anymore, but I can buy Barry Sanders or Pat McAfee's cards, right? In these card packs. And then you end up spending thousands of dollars in either of these games to get an experience that is still worse than the career mode from 15 years ago. That's the problem, at least in my opinion. Like that's one of the problems. There, like to Joe and John's point, there are a billion.
So have they maintained features from game to game, or are some like core features missing?
It's not missing. I think some stuff gets worse. Actually, like in the case of 2K, of NBA 2K, it almost feels slower. I don't mean like frame rate. I just mean like time from button press to there's a sluggishness, and the assumption, uneducated admittedly, is that they're layering on, some amount of animations to make Steph Curry look like Steph Curry, and they're just sludging on top of sludge. It's this
like those dribble mechanics, like the dribble mechanics, the step back mechanics in 2K have felt laggy for a while because of that. Because you're right, they try to give like individual players stuff. But to your question, Sam, about Madden, yes, they've removed stuff. I cannot create a team of refrigerator-sized freaks, and I could have done that years ago. And I have that same problem with NCAA this year, right? Like College Football 25, I really like that game, but NCAA 13 for Xbox 360 has a more robust franchise mode. And that's like, it's like 12 years later.
Yeah, I mean, and Sam, I mean, I think you're like, look, maybe I'm being ignorant or this and that. No, I think I'll speak for myself. I think I am when hopeful ignorance, where I'm like, I hope it comes back, right? Like you have so many memories built up on games like 2K and especially Madden and that community. And you kind of hope that, they just give you a little bit of that same feeling as they used to, but they're not incentivized to really do that. And then you're just feeding the beast. So I think like eventually consumers stop, I was lucky enough to get a promo code for this game. So, for us, it's we're not like, spending the $70 that to do this. I don't know the last time I really spent that, maybe a couple of years ago or a few years ago, but it used to be an annual thing for me. And just, I'm not their consumer anymore because I'm looking for like maybe something that something that doesn't exist. I'm looking for something that does not exist anymore.
But like, John, to your point, here's a game that both of us were buying annually. FIFA. When was the last time we even said that word to each other? Like it's
FIFA. Yeah, fair.
We fell off of that franchise for the same reasons. It was just like, for a while there, it felt like all they did at FIFA was switch the lob and the regular pass button around every other year. It was like, oh, X is now lob. oh, this year it's B. It's like, what the fuck are
they
we
didn't
doing
do
here?
much.
And then they did the same thing Madden did, and they shoehorned in Ultimate Team, and that's where all the money to development went. So it's like, like to your point, 20 years ago, I was buying 2K, I was buying Madden, and I was buying college football, and I was buying FIFA. And now I got a review key for Madden. I deleted that thing after playing it one time. But yeah, I did buy NCAA because that is like a unique thing that happened this year in sports gaming. But outside of that, I don't buy the NBA 2K games at all. And it's been a very long time. But granted, I'm a salty Cavs fan, and they tend to suck in that game. Except we got a good player now and stuff. But like, to me, it's just not fun. Because like what I really liked about like the 2K13 era, maybe even before that, was like being able to create players and like have fun in like a franchise mode or like a career mode. And then they started shoving in Jake from State Farm in the career mode. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just they've lost their way, in my opinion. And both games, and I know you asked about broad sports games, but both EA with Madden and 2K with NBA, both desperately need competition. Like, we need an NBA Live out there, and we need an NFL 2K out there just to push the other developer to actually innovate. And until that happens, I think it's going to be like this.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could also point to like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater though, and like that game was awesome for probably 3 or 4 entries, and then it fell off because they lost what they were doing. And obviously Activision and now Microsoft, they're the masters of killing IP. But I think it's something that a lot of sports games fall into, Sam. So I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Obviously, us three, you have assembled a panel of 3 people here who we could write a Shack News long read about what we want them to do to fix NBA 2K.
Yeah.
But, it's I hope that eventually market forces will get involved. But also, like, to your other point, I do want fun arcadey experiences. Like, I want a new NBA Street style game, or like a real NFL Blitz style game. Or even like Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey. Like, I just want
NBA Live, which was itself arcadey.
Yes, at times.
It was like the right marriage of both.
They failed with that comeback though, man. They tried.
I know. I bought those too. I was there.
I went to EA headquarters and I played NBA Live and I interviewed their devs, and they were really working on something, and that plug got pulled because it wasn't selling.
They were working on something.
Games still playable? Can you still play them?
Yeah, but the problem is, Sam,
probably.
like, you're playing a game from like 10 years ago with old rosters. And, this is a completely different thing, but like, all these games should be live service where we just pay for roster upgrades. But like, that will never happen because people buy these games for $70 still. So it's, like I said, we're in a bit of a paradox here. But yeah, John, you said you were playing Astrobot. Let's chat about Astrobot.
I am. Well, I quite like it. I think it might be a little overrated just because maybe a big Mario fan or something.
It's basically just Flood. They just stole Flood from Mario Sunshine, John. They just stole Flood. They stole Flood. They fucking straight up stole Flood. Look, what was the cool part of Mario Sunshine? Oh, you have this jetpack that's powered by water. What is Astrobot?
Yeah, but Astrobot's had that. Well, I guess so. But I will say that
they stole
I really
Andros too.
it.
The first boss battle is literally Andros. Okay, but anyway.
I look, you know what? It's a testament to sometimes you just want games like that.
Sure.
Right? And Nintendo, you know me, come out with all this. I don't care. Show me Mario Odyssey 5 times over in 5 years. I know it's not that easy. I get that. I'm not trying to be diminishing to the whole reason that these things are special is because they take time, and it's a special skill and special developers. I will say that Astrobot scratches an itch. So much so it's one of my like 3 platinums I've ever gotten on PlayStation. I'm usually like an Xbox guy. Go figure. Betting on that horse. But with PlayStation, it's it doesn't hit, that nostalgia doesn't hit for me, but it's just a fun, well-made game. It actually made me laugh a couple times, like funny enough. It's a clever game. And 30 years of PlayStation. Yeah, you see it. You kind of forget. But some of the references, they even reference the old PlayStation mascot. I'm talking about Polygon Man, right? The
Mhm.
Polygon Man face. And I'm like, whoa, that's a deep cut. Like, that is a kind of a deep cut, just
I
because that
love
is
the
30
Ape
years to the
Escape.
day.
But the Ape Escape reference was pretty great. Like, yeah, they're
All the
I
Ape
don't-
Escape. I mean, the fact that like they have levels where you
yeah,
essentially turn into,
yeah,
if it's like Kratos with the axe or
yep.
Nathan Drake with Uncharted and the guns, like it's pretty awesome. So if I'm a PlayStation guy, like this is where Nintendo, I would be in heaven. This would be a 10 out of 10 if this were Nintendo IP, right? Like this is it. But that it's PlayStation, I'm like, it just doesn't hit the same, but I really enjoyed it. So
I
that I
think it's
played.
I think it's really good. I really do. I think the music's outstanding, and the one
Music's
thing that
great. The music's
one thing
awesome, actually.
like the thing that it does that wows me on each level is that it just showcases technology that Nintendo has not used before in a 3D open world, because like clearly the hardware that Sony has is more powerful than anything Nintendo's ever had, so they're able to, like, I don't know, there's that ice cream level with all the sprinkles on the ground, or like just the amount of like the amount of items that you'll see on screen at any given time is stunning. And yeah, everyone likes to compare it to Odyssey. I really think it's like Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which I love. It's a great game, but it's not the same as a 3D Mario game, in my opinion. Because like Mario is about, here's Cappy. Cappy's going to be the key, the thing that's going to drive this game. Whereas like Astrobot's, like each level is kind of like the wonder mechanic in Mario Wonder, right? Like you're going to get this one, you turn into a balloon. This one you turn into a balloon. This one you have this one you have that. And it's just, it doesn't feel like Odyssey to me. It feels more like Kirby and the Forgotten Land or Mario Wonder even. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I love both of those games. I think the one-to-one comparison with Odyssey is not really fair.
No, I'd say like the Wonder one, like Wonder was what I was thinking about. And I actually think, and I liked Wonder a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was better than Wonder. I think Wonder was a good 2 days. That was a fun 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Are you playing Wonder? Have you played Wonder again? Like, I know that with Astrobot, they have some DLC coming for free, but also to get that platinum, there are some levels that are properly hard, like that are properly difficult, and it kind of runs the gamut. So the unlockables, they're just fun. So yeah, anyway, overall, I thought Astrobot was really
I think two key differences from like a 3D Mario game to Astrobot. Astrobot's like Checkpoint City, but you also have one hit, like you die instantly.
Yeah, you're gone. Yeah.
So like I understand why they need to balance those things, but like there are not that many checkpoints in the 3D Mario game. So in my opinion, the later, like the Darker Side of the Moon and Odyssey and stuff are still harder than some of the hardest Astrobot levels I've played. But I haven't been playing Astrobot in the last week. We'll get to it where I talk about what I've been playing with. But it's I love it. It's great. And what I said last week was just congratulations, Sony, you have a mascot. Like that's
they made Astrobot like officially a mascot, and I think that was accidental because did people think Astro's Playroom was going to hit the way that it did? I mean, that was a tech demo essentially that turned out to be a really fun game. So testament to the studio. Mm-hmm. But no,
and even the last one they did, rescue mission, was just a tech demo for the PSVR. So to your point,
VR, sure,
it was like an experimental thing. But what's funny is like you think about Nintendo over time, and they would always design controllers and consoles for the next Mario, and then like we would remember that Mario 100 demo on the GameCube.
Yeah, 128.
Yeah, like. So like Mario has kind of been that thing that pushes innovation at Nintendo. So I think Astrobot can be that for them here, where it's like, I mean, Astrobot is a celebration of the PlayStation brand, right? You're in a giant PlayStation 5 spaceship. You're flying around on a DualSense controller. Like you're going around repairing a PlayStation 5.
It is like PlayStation fan service, like to the max. It's just, I'm not a huge PlayStation guy. So, I mean, I think ultimately, I thought it was very good. It's a 9 out of 10, probably. I haven't really thought about it, but I I do think it's a little overrated, just in media.
I just think it's
so
derivative.
far.
I think people like, I don't mean this about everyone, but there's a lot of people in our industry who have not been playing 3D platformers, and they're thinking that this is some come to Jesus moment for the genre. And I'm like, no, there's plenty of 3D platformers out there in the indie space and in the AAA space that are great. And Astrobot borrows from a lot of them.
I was saying to you, Asif, that, so I haven't played a whole lot of Astrobot. I have played, a bit, but one thing that I noted was that it doesn't seem to have a high skill ceiling like Mario Odyssey does, whereby you can get through a level you can get through a level totally fine in Mario Odyssey, right?
Sure.
But if you are a talented player, you can string together these moves, you can move faster, you can do jumps that are out of the scope of someone who's maybe, casual or younger or whatever, right?
It goes back to the capping mechanic I was talking about. Like, capping is such a transformative mechanic that speedrunners were able to create exploits with.
You link those stuff together. Yeah, right? But then with Astrobot, I feel like if you are a high skill 3D platformer player, you're limited in what you can do, because I don't know that you can really string together a set of special moves, right? Because all these unique moves are locked per level.
I think you can do it per level. I think like there will be speedrun strats for this game, and that this game will be speedrun probably at Awesome Games Done Quick in January, would be my guess. If not, like, there are probably people already practicing runs right now on Twitch, but like they're coming out with like a speedrun mode. They mentioned,
right, because they had that at Playroom in the Playroom. But no, that makes sense. I mean, that's a good point. There's there's a little bit. It's a linear game, like super linear game, right? And just in terms of like not only the level design, but just also, how
it has a hub world. It has a hub world. Like, everyone's like, oh my god, what a transform. No, hub worlds have been around forever, and Nintendo's trying to move away from them with Bowser's Fury, for instance. So like, I
do like the hub world, just because, again, it's like all the unlockables, but I'm a collectathon dude, right? So it kind of again scratched that itch. No
doubt. But
yeah, it's good that PlayStation has something,
But
so
that's that's like a very like that overworld. It's not that different than Mario 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I love Mario 3, but like, I think Nintendo is looking at this, and they're 5 years. Okay. They're 5 years into the Mario Odyssey sequel, whatever it's going to be called, right? Like, they've been working on that for half a decade already.
Sure.
I think that Nintendo has moved away from hub worlds in their Mario design. So I think that's going to be one thing where it's going to be like, here's this big ass Mario open world game that I think that's what we're about to see. Whereas this is like that's why I keep saying this is more like Kirby in the Forgotten Land to me. And I fucking love that game. And it's similar in that you can beat Kirby in the Forgotten Land by taking this one path, or you can be a completionist and find some very difficult levels, or at least more challenging levels. So I think it's similar in that sense. But yeah, my take is like, now I'm like, well, what is Nintendo going to do in response to this? Because they're watching, and they saw all the reviews.
But I don't think I think I was thinking about that, right? I wonder what Miyamoto thinks of this crash site when it's populated by like 305 little Astrobots that reference other PlayStation series.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is like, it's just a nice, like, joyful game. I'm not a big PlayStation fan at all, frankly. But no, like, I really enjoyed the time, and I think Nintendo, if they take anything out of it, I hope it's a little bit more reverence for the series that they have, because I think Nintendo, they don't do a great job of that. I really don't think they do a great job. It's a sellable library to them. And that's how they do maybe a decent job with Nintendo Switch Online and stuff like that. But as far as celebrating IP, I mean, I'm still salty about Year of Luigi. Come on, give us some, like, give us a little bit more.
This should have been the Year of Luigi 2. 2024 should have been the Year of Luigi 2. Yeah. It was sitting right there. You got a Luigi's Mansion 2 game that you shipped this year. Like, you could have done that. I'm still upset that Luigi Death Stare was not in the Mario movie.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's a very meme type character now for a certain generation. But anyway, Astrobot 2, if they take anything out of it, I hope it's just, hey, people want to see they these are it's to your point about the Mario movie. They did it in the movie, they were referencing old ass, games. Like
Yep.
you could probably do that a little bit better. And I thought Astrobot did that really well. There were some series that there was no way I was expecting. Friggin' Ooh La La, from Space Channel 5. Like, how is this happening? So
Octodad.
Octodad, yeah, pretty neat.
Octodad is in Astrobot. Like, that's cool.
Pretty cool.
That's a deep cut, right? Because like Astrobot Octodad was like a PS4 launch title, I thought. So like, it's just
an indie. It was an indie game, I thought. So
it was, but it launched with PS4, I think. So it was like, I remember it was at like one of the events back when we had live events before the Death Stranding. I'm sure there's Death Stranding's in this game, right? There's a Death Stranding reference.
Death Stranding is in this game, yeah. So Bridges
like there's gonna be something for everyone, but like to my point, like God, Sony really got into like we make long single player narrative experience games, and it's like no, Nintendo proved this on Switch this generation. People want all sorts of gaming experiences. They don't want one kind, and like with Naughty Dog and Santa Monica Studio and like even Sucker Punch with like Ghost of Tsushima, like they kind of got into this path of just single player games that are like narrative driven and longer.
Differentiator, I think,
which they're great at making, but like at some point people just want to have fun, and Astrobot is fun.
I will say the last which makes sense. The last thing I'll say about Astrobot is weirdly enough it makes me want to play some of these games I missed. So for example, the latest God of War Ragnarok, I just didn't get it. So
it's so good, mate.
It's so good, right? Like I keep hearing I think Joe like said, hey, it's like you put in 80 hours or something ridiculous, right, Joe?
In
like
the second one, maybe 45-ish,
or 40. But
maybe
like
50.
A significant time investment where, it's weird that Astrobot, coupled with just those kinds of reviews, like word of mouth reviews, it's going to have me check this out. This game out maybe 2 years after its release. So it kind of did its job that way.
I'd be interested to know whether playing God of War Ragnarok as a parent is different than
how funny. Interesting.
Just because of like, who do you align with more? Do you align with Atreus? Do you align with Kratos? That's
cool. Yeah, I'll definitely. I downloaded it the other day actually, and then instead I played NBA 2K. What the hell did I do?
So
and that's what I'm playing. I mean, there's random Roblox time with the kids, but I don't think this is the crowd for that per se.
No, it's
not. Fun times.
So do you guys want to know what I've been playing?
Yeah, awesome. Tell us.
This may surprise you. But last week on Saturday, the 14th of September, it was the anniversary of F-Zero 99's release. So I held a anniversary celebration live stream. And at one point I was the number one F-Zero 99 stream in the universe. There wasn't many people streaming it. Nice. But it was fun. The game's great. Played all sorts of different modes, showcased all the different modes. Didn't get any first place finishes, but that's how that game is like. But it was pretty fun. One of the devs from F-Zero 99 actually followed me on Twitter. I have a F-Zero 99 dev following me, and they retweeted a bunch of the stuff I was tweeting. It was fun watching. There are these segments of Twitter that are still alive and well, and F-Zero Twitter is one of the most beaten down fan bases ever, and we're still there. So we all had a great celebration on Saturday.
That's cool.
Anyone who came by got some gameplay that they got to watch, and it's great. Outside of that, I can't really say I've been editing a lot, football's back, so I've been watching football and playing this mobile game I mentioned last week. I'm still playing Crowd City. Those are the two games I'm playing that I can talk about. So that's all I'll say. Video games are awesome. I'm going to maintain that statement from last week. Video games are pretty awesome. And I look back at the year of F-Zero 99 and it feels like a fever dream, like this, that there's a live service Nintendo game and they chose F-Zero and they supported it with like multiple seasons and like updates and new tracks and new modes, and like I had an epiphany over the weekend because it was also the Splatoon the Grand Festival occurred. There is a huge overlap on the team that made F-Zero 99 and the team that works on Splatoon. And here's my hot take that you can put in a vault somewhere, Joe, and open it when they say this. Okay. The next Splatoon game will be a live service game. And I think they should call it Splatoon Forever.
That's good.
But yeah, I think that Nintendo doesn't do stuff like F-Zero 99 for fun or for fans. That they are a profit-driven, development-driven company. They did it because it's an IP that if they screwed up, they're going to only piss off a few, 20,000 people or whatever. But like, if they succeeded, they could learn from that and bring it to a more popular franchise. And I think that the two franchises that they may be considering for a live service would be Kart and Splatoon. But Splatoon, after this weekend, Splatoon makes all the sense in the world. Because I don't know if you guys saw what was going on at the Grand Festival. There was like a music festival happening in Splatoon all weekend. Like every musical act throughout the history of the game were performing on this massive stage with all these like fake fans with like glow sticks in the crowd. That is their Fortnite.
In the game itself?
Yes. In
like
the game
Fortnite?
itself. Like you could go there, John. It was like a stop on the train. You could go to the Grand Festival and witness all these not live, but like pre-recorded live music performances.
Sure.
And that
cool.
sounds like Fortnite to me. So
that's very Fortnite, yeah.
So like Nintendo, I think, is like, hey, maybe we have a live service game here. Because to me, as a fan of Splatoon, this was like a melancholy weekend. Because you're like, that's it. That was the last thing that they're going to do in Splatoon 3 of any consequence. And there've been some really cool, there was like the Triforce event. They've done all sorts of Splatfests. But I'm like, where does this franchise go from here? I feel like it's Splatoon forever. Like you can't, sunsetting these titles doesn't make sense in this world anymore. Because like, that's the place. You want to create a place that you can evolve over time like Fortnite has done, but that you can keep people there forever. And I think that's the problem with Splatoon is like, it has its spring, summer, fall, and winter, right? And we're in the winter of Splatoon 3 right now. And I think that Nintendo, especially Japan, they love that game. It's very popular over there. And I think that's going to be the one. But a lot of the people,
worth it if you can launch it early on in the next console's life cycle, so that you've got, you've got 7 years of service for this game.
But yeah, so that's my hot take. Right. I think Splatoon is going to be a live service game, and it'll probably launch next year with the Switch 2.
I like it.
All right,
I like it a lot. Put a stamp on it.
That's all I've been playing. Yeah. Video games are awesome, and yeah, shout out to those devs, the F-Zero 99 devs, man. They're champions. I think it's been an amazing year for that game. Just the amount of updates, they've kept the community engaged. We still haven't seen any of them say a word about the game publicly, but I hope this game survives onto the next Switch and they keep supporting it. But I do have a feeling that this was a test for a much larger Nintendo live service game, and I think they nailed it. Like they hit it out of the park with F-Zero 99. So whatever they do,
you heard it here first.
Yep, Splatoon forever. Doug Bowser, just cut me 10% of revenue if I'm right.
Just 10%.
We know Doug Bowser. He doesn't do anything else. He just listens to podcasts. So here we are. Shout out, Doug. But yeah, that's it. That's what I've been playing. Video games are
good. Awesome. Video games are awesome, but so are normal games, which we are about to dive into after a quick break. Welcome to TV Toys, the game. Two. So I don't know if you remember, Asif, and I don't remember who was here the first time. I know it wasn't Sam, but we have played TV Toys, the game before, and the way this game works is I'm going to give you a little cryptic message, and that message decodes the title of a video game. You're going to do your best to decipher this message.
I do remember this. I don't remember who. It might have been Ozzy.
Awesome.
I think Ozzy might have been the person that
Ozzy sounds right. Ozzy sounds right. I should know. I don't want to shuffle through all my documents to get the answer, but at any rate, we're going to play this game. I will give you an example of what I mean. So I might give you the clue trip in, and you will do your best to figure out that the answer to that is fall out. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
This is going to be a buzz in game. So Asif's favorite thing. Yes. Yeah. Asif, please give the
John, you would say John to buzz in.
I'd say John.
Okay. Sam, you would say Sam, but don't say Asif to buzz in. That's what I say.
Oh, okay. All right.
I just have to explain it. But yeah.
Right.
Did I do a good job explaining it, Joe?
That was perfect. So I will keep score, and we will see at the end of this list that I've concocted who has the most correct answers. So if all three of you get it wrong, if all three of you buzz in and get it wrong, I will restart the round. You'll have your second opportunity to buzz in with your name. Okay. But once you get it wrong, you cannot buzz in again until the other contestants had a turn. So, are we all set?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Ready.
Here we go. First round. Here's your clue. Myth of air and wilderness. Myth.
Asif.
I think Asif, I heard.
Myth of
3, 2, 1.
Breath of the Wild? The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild?
That is correct. Well done.
I couldn't get that wrong twice because I got Breath of the Wild wrong a few weeks ago and my brother still
That's
giving me
true.
shit about it.
Well done. Here we go.
I did it.
Plumber's epic journey.
Asif. Mario Odyssey?
That is correct. Ring warfare reimagined.
Sam.
Ring. Sam.
Halo Combat Evolved.
That is correct.
Nice.
Well done, Sam. Well done.
Thank you for letting me have that, Asif.
Deity of battle.
Awesome.
Sam. Oh.
I think I heard John.
Wait, I was first.
No, wait. Maybe I'm getting a massive delay here. Who was
John? Go ahead.
Yeah, I did hear John first.
Okay.
The podcast. The listeners will tell us.
The listeners will tell us. Yes, correct. That is correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct. Well done. Here we go. Blocky construction.
Asif.
Blocky. Asif.
Minecraft.
That is correct.
Interesting.
Here we go. Sorcerer's untamed pursuit. Sorcerer's untamed pursuit. Sorcerer's untamed pursuit.
And oh gosh.
Sorcerer's untamed pursuit.
Sorcerer's untamed pursuit. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Asif.
Okay.
That stupid Harry Potter game that came out last year.
That stupid Harry Potter game that came out last year is incorrect.
Okay. At least I guessed.
Any other takers? 3, 2, 1. Okay, the correct answer is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Oh,
boo.
God, that was terrible. Shaggy's Game of the Year 2015.
Here we go.
It's a boo.
Killer's Belief.
Asif.
Asif.
Assassin's Creed.
Nice.
Correct. Here we go. Crimson Expired Salvation 2. Crimson Expired Salvation 2.
Sam?
John.
Sam.
Oh.
Crimson Expired Salvation.
3.
No, this is going to be wrong.
2,
Oh, no.
1.
I was going to say
Awesome.
Bloodborne.
Asif. Asif.
No, wait, I said
No, this one goes to John.
Okay.
Okay. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
That's correct.
You got it.
Okay.
I was like, I knew it when Sam was stumbling. I was like, I got it, and then I forgot. Yeah, John had it in there.
All good.
Here we go. 2 week battle. 2 week battle.
Sam.
Ugh.
Fortnite?
Yeah.
You got it.
2 week
Fortnite.
battle. Wow.
Wow. That's really something there, Joe.
That is aggravating.
Nice.
No.
Local villainy. Local villainy. Local
Oh, Sam.
villainy. Sam.
Resident Evil.
Correct.
Nice.
I
Very
was
good.
thinking like the evil within, maybe, but yeah. Resident Evil's good.
Here we go. Surveillance.
Sam.
Surveillance. Sam.
Watch Dogs?
Incorrect.
Asif.
No, I was
Asif.
correct. Get out of here.
Asif. Overwatch.
That's correct.
No.
Wow. Understood why you would have gone there. Certainly not a bad response. Correct answer, Overwatch.
Yep.
Here we go. Life Jolt. Life Jolt. Life Jolt. Life Jolt.
Life Jolt.
Life Jolt. 5, 4.
Awesome.
Life.
Asif.
Death Stranding.
Incorrect.
I'm just gonna guess.
That was all right.
It's like Jolt
3,
Strand. I don't know.
2, 1. Buzzer's failing. BioShock.
Oh.
Bioshock. Yeah,
Wow.
that's fair.
Here we go.
Is it?
I guess.
Grave,
Got it.
Grave Explorer. Grave
Sam.
Explorer. Sam.
Tomb Raider.
Correct.
Wow. Good one, Sam.
Shadow Spirits. Shadow Spirits.
Sam.
Sam.
Dark Souls.
Correct.
Damn.
Well done.
Very good.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions left.
I'd say this
The
is a
current
short
tally.
game.
Hey, we're cruising along here. The current tally, Asif with 5 points. Sam Chandler with 5 points.
Wow.
Oh my
John Benyamine with 2 points.
Anybody's game.
Spoiler.
Anybody's game here, though.
It is
It
true.
is anybody's game.
Mathematically, I'm in for a couple.
Yeah, you're not
couple questions.
eliminated. Yep, you're
Not
not
yet.
eliminated.
Here we go. Sunrise of the Edge.
Sam.
Sam. 3.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Correct.
Wow. Takes the lead.
Summon of Responsibility. Summon of Responsibility.
What's that? Awful.
Summon of Responsibility. That's so worst
Summon.
game ever.
Terrible game.
That's got to be an Xbox game.
Game Pass.
Oh, Sam. It's me. Sam.
That's
Sam.
Sam's ringing in.
Sam. Sam.
Call of Duty.
Correct.
Oh my god.
Darn it. That
And
is
it is
rough.
an Xbox game. Well
Correct.
done.
It is
Wow.
an Xbox game. We were just stalling around it.
Yeah, I was right. I was dead right.
Yeah, there
It
was.
was an Xbox game. And it's on Game Pass. John was right too.
John, you are now out of contention for first. In
So
contention
now
for second.
I am taking bribes to team up. Okay, good.
Here we go. Serpent Adventure. Serpent.
Done.
Asif.
Dragon Quest.
Correct. It's coming down to the wire here. Here we go. Future Hacker. Millennium.
Awesome.
Sam.
Future
Awesome.
Hack. Watch Dogs?
Incorrect. Sam.
I was going to say Cyberpunk.
Correct. 2 left.
No, but this one. Okay. No, just that one is rough.
Doing my best here.
Do you want the critique, Joe, or
Thanks.
does that help?
Appreciate that.
Just youch. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Beast Stalker. Beast Stalker. Beast Stalker.
Sam.
Sam.
Monster Hunter.
Ah,
Correct.
Yep.
Goodness gracious! I think. Wow.
it's over.
And that's the game. With the
But I
final
want to do the last
tally.
one. I want all
Yeah,
the
I want
points.
to do the last one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what's,
All right. Wow.
yeah,
Guys are
I don't
keeping.
know.
Wow. Okay. Sure.
I like to guess right now before I even hear it.
Yeah, let's do that. Can we
Ultimate-
do that?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay. Go ahead.
No, listen.
No, I was going to say Final Fantasy, but I don't think it is after hearing Ultimate. That's the first
It
word.
is. Yeah. No. That the Final
be.
Fantasy is the correct answer.
Am I
Dang it.
correct?
Jesus
I was
Christ.
gonna go with Yakuza.
Wow. Well, congratulations, Sam.
Sam destroyed it.
So wait, what was the final score? I want to know if John like Jill Steined me or something.
No, it was
The
just
final
true.
score.
I stopped answering because I didn't want to be accused of the Jill Steining. I was like, if I buzz in, what's the point? Like, I'm gonna ruin it for one of you. So, not to mention, I couldn't
It was
get
tough. It
a
was a
correct
tough
one
game.
anyway. Yeah, this was
It
a
was tough.
toughie.
This
So,
was markedly easier than the first iteration. I do remember not the person who was on it, but I remember both of you were stumped. So I tried
Yeah.
to make it a little less cryptic.
Yeah, I
in third
think you did.
place. In third place is
Bronze
JB,
medal.
John Benyamine,
I'll
bronze
take it.
medal, which is
Thank
still
you.
a medal with
Still
2
a medal.
points. Asif with the silver at 6, and double digits Sam himself with 10
Damn.
points.
Thank you. This is my
Double D.
third. This is my hat trick win.
Wow.
I'd like to thank my wife, Lauren, who told me to go and get the third win and good luck or goodbye. So,
Oh, damn.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
So that's like Brittany Mahomes over there, just
That's a lot
expecting
of
the
pressure.
three-peat. Expecting the three-peat, not just
Wow.
hoping for it, like
Demanding
expecting
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Demanding it. Yeah. A
Impressive,
mandate.
Sam. You came...
Nicely done.
I don't know how one prepares for a Joe game, but you came prepared for that one. So good for you. You got that. When you got the Halo one, I knew I was in trouble. I was like, uh-oh.
That was
And then-
tough. Yeah, that's a toughie.
I had Red Dead 2. I had it. I just didn't chime in fast enough. That was a good one.
It's one of
That
my
was good.
favorite
That
games.
was
If I
good.
didn't get that one,
Seriously,
feel
I
like
got
that
Breath of the
last
Wild
no
wrong a
business.
few weeks ago. I got Breath of the Wild wrong a few weeks ago, John, and I'm still catching shit for it. So yeah. It,
But
Joe, sorry for being a bit cheeky with that last one, mate. Guessing before you even said it, but
No.
I had to hedge
I'm
my bets
impressed.
and know that you're a Final Fantasy man, and I was like, he's probably snuck one in. It's not appeared yet.
And lo and behold, you were right. And you're the champion as a result. So
Thank you. Thank you.
trust your gut next
Congrats,
time because
Sam.
it has served you well today on TV Toys The Game 2. Who
Bravo.
knows when we will play TV Toys The Game 3, but I look forward to it.
yeah,
So
it's a good game. I like this one.
with that,
GG.
I hand it back to Asif for story time. Here we go.
Sweet. We'll be right back with story time, so stay tuned. Welcome to Storytime. Let's dive into the latest stories from the past week. It's Reviewsa again. Joe, we have so
Yeah.
many reviews to talk about
Yes,
here.
we do. Yes, we do.
And they're all sorts of games. So let's get into it. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. This should be called a remake, but they just wanted to call it DRDR to be funny.
They can still call it a
Capcom.
remake, couldn't they?
It still
Yeah.
would be. So
Yeah.
Anyway, it's Dead Rising, the new coat of paint. I don't know. You
Did
guys
it.
like killing zombies?
Yep. I love Dead Rising. I think it's great. It scratches a part of my brain, my monkey brain, that doesn't get scratched a lot. So it's cool. I get to switch off and just slay zombies in a mall, man. Like Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, it's a fun time.
So, without staying too long on this, TJ gave it an 8 out of 10, and some of the cons I think were present in the original game too. The enemy and survivor AI is still pretty bad, but that's like part of the charm of the game, honestly. It was like stupid AI doing silly things like walking into each other and just, whatever. He said the game is pretty hard until you take the levels back. I think that's true. It was a pretty challenging game, at least at the time.
It was. Yeah. I remember
And the
that.
same, they kept the same crappy dialogue and animations. So
Nice.
that's a choice, right? Like they chose to keep it campy and silly, which I think makes sense with this game.
I count that as a total win.
Yeah, so the negatives, honestly, the negatives aren't really that negative. In
You've
my
already
opinion.
convinced me, Asif. You've already convinced me, mate.
I'm reading the cons list to you, and you're like, yep.
Yeah,
I like all
awesome. Sign me
this.
up.
So yeah, it's that's my point, I guess, is that if you were a fan of the series before and you just want to play it again on a new console and have that experience again, but have it look a little bit better, you can. And this is one of those games where there wasn't really anything wrong with it, so I'm here for this. This is cool, and hopefully, like, this is that thing that will lead to like a new Dead Rising or another game from Capcom that's kind of inspired by this gameplay. Because I think that just having so many enemies on screen at once when that game shipped was like a big deal, right? And
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, I remember that.
I think the
And
worst thing the series did was shifting to an outdoor setting.
yes,
Like, chuck us in a shopping center.
put it back
let's
in a
have
mall. Just put us
Yeah.
back in a mall. Put us back in, like, you know what would be funny? Do like an E3 Dead Rising where you're at the LA
Oh.
Convention Center
very good.
and you're at a game. I'm full of video game ideas today, guys. Just
Yeah, that's a
You
good
know,
one. I like that one.
Bill Capcom, get on the phone with me. You can license my idea. That's the name of the CEO of Capcom.
Dead Rising 2 is like set in Las Vegas or something, or some sort of like casino strip. It was, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a game though that can be rebooted in the right setting, and I think there will always be appetite for killing zombies and stuff. And yeah, the characters are funny. It's like the campiness of the dialogue and stuff. The game was funny. It still is. Here's a game though. Let's talk about this game. The Plucky Squire. Ozzy reviewed it for us over at Shack News. Gave it a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Have you guys seen this game? It's
Yeah,
stunning.
it looks gorgeous. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's this mixture of like 2D art, 3D gameplay. It incorporates all sorts of gameplay mechanics. So there's like one scene where you're playing like it's straight out of Punch Out kind of. They have this like Baba Is You style puzzle solving. I don't know if you guys played Baba Is You, but like it's you would like drag words next to each other and they would change the rules of the games. So they made some puzzles that are kind of inspired by that. For the rest of the time, it's kind of a Zelda-like a top-down 2D kind of Zelda game. It's awesome. It's really cool and really cute, and it's it's rated E10, so maybe not for the youngest kids, but younger kids can enjoy it with their families. It's on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, and it only costs $30.
It's actually one of the I think it's one of the PlayStation Plus games of the month.
Okay.
You know what? I might be mistaken. I'm almost certain it is. So
I will check.
Well, if it is, that's a place to play it. If not, I think $30 is not a bad price for this.
It's the Plucky Squire is included with the membership.
Yeah, so you can play it for free or not free, but as part of your PlayStation Plus subscription on PlayStation. Yeah, it's cool. Check it out. I'm going to play this game. It's on our must play list here at Shack News. And yeah, it's been a game that's been in development for 4 years. It looks like they really took their time to make something really unique, which is hard in 2024 video games. The only negative that Ozzy mentioned was that the stealth sections feel a little half-baked, and this is, I think, a bigger problem. Character progression doesn't really matter in the final battle. That's kind of deflating. I like games where like you build up to that moment, like the Ganon battles or whatever. Sure. So that's kind of annoying. But outside of that, Ozzy had nothing but praise for this game. 9 out of 10 at Shack News. Highly recommend it. But wait, there's an even higher score of a review for a game this week. This was an interesting one. The Castlevania Dominus Collection. Lucas White reviewed it, and he gave it a 10 out of 10. And if you think about it, those games included in it are considered some of the best Castlevania games of all time. They were very popular on the DS. I'm trying to remember which ones they are. But it's the Dawn of Sorrow, Portrait of Ruin, and Order of Ecclesia are all included in this. They also had to adapt these DS games to being single screen, and I thought they did a really good job of that. So that's pretty cool. And then they also brought Haunted Castle, which is like the OG, and they did like this kind of WiiWare style remake of it, and it's actually good. So yeah, it's quite cool. So you have 3 of like the most critically acclaimed Castlevania games, and you have like this OG with a new coat of paint that's actually good too. We like these collections because a lot of these games can't be bought on DS anymore because they shut down the eShop. So it's cool that you can get all these in one place now. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for the Dominus collection.
Wow.
Yeah, no. We went through it with a fine-tooth comb, and I'm like, there's nothing wrong with this. Like, it's like, when you have to sit there for 30 minutes and find something wrong with a collection of games, you're probably just trying to be negative. But yeah, I think the work they did, I hope other DS games get this treatment, because we can't buy them anymore. So I think that stuff like this is good. We had a new reviewer. Lauren Chandler reviewed Tiny Glade, which is like this adorable, like, I don't know, what is it? A castle builder? Or like a diorama builder?
Yeah, it's a little diorama builder. It's very cutesy, very cozy, relaxing game. Where you're given like a little glade. It's in the name. And then you use like tools to make brick walls or little buildings and structures. And it's just about coming up with an adorable little town or something. She really loved it. She's fully into cozy games. I'm really proud of what she was able to put together here. She absolutely loved it. There's these you know, each day you can log in, and if you want a little bit of inspiration, the game will give you like hey, maybe you can make an apothecary today. And so you jump in and you try and make something that looks like, you know, what could be an apothecary.
She built a recreation of Peach's castle from Mario 64 in it. And her biggest complaint was there weren't enough pink textures. But outside of that was a cool little remake that build that she did there. Yeah, this is adorable. When I saw the trailer, like, Bill was like, "Hey, dude, we want to cover this," and I'm like, it's not the biggest game on earth or whatever, but it just looks cool. So
it's one of those games that you can kind of like, it's on PC. It's one of these cute games you can, if you're just sort of like, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I'm just chatting to mates or whatever, and I don't want to be super involved in a game, but I need to click with my mouse and I don't want to read, like, it's this where you can kind of just fiddle and make something really adorable.
Yeah, she mentioned it. She felt like Bob Ross while playing it, and it's like, you don't actually make mistakes; they're just happy little accidents. It's like, this is it's a nice chill experience. But nice. I thought that was one that we should highlight. And it got a 8 out of 10. Welcome to the reviews, Lauren. We hope you stick around. And then
the devs reached out and they said that one of the cons, the no pink, they're like, we're fixing that. It's one of the first things. So
wow. Love it. I love that. I love when devs read our reviews and are like, no, we need to fix this. Shack News is right, damn it.
We need
because go back and look at my Tetris Effect review and then look at Tetris Effect Connected. They did everything line by line.
And even your F-Zero.
F-Zero 99, they definitely read that one. Because I'm the only person on earth to give that game a 10 out of 10. But, I'm right. So, Donovan reviewed NBA 2K25. I don't want to stay on this too long because we were talking about it. I do want to mention a cool thing in it is that they actually have, like, WNBA players, and, like, they spent some time on the character models and stuff. Obviously, this is, like, a huge year for the WNBA with, like, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and Cameron Brink. Like, seeing those women in this game with, like, real models that don't look stupid, like, that's cool, and that's progress for women's sports. And it's really been an amazing year for the WNBA. I just wanted to give them a shout out for that. Donovan gave it a 7. That's probably a little high, but he said, my career is still bloated. Agree with that. My GM revival falls flat, and microtransactions are still at the forefront. I agree with everything. He did say that my team did receive some needed reworks. My NBA eras is pretty cool. You get the Steph Curry era in this one, right? Which I have relabeled the shirtless J.R. Smith era. But because oddly enough, the Steph Curry era starts after 2016. Apparently 2016 was not part of his era. I don't know. What happened in 2016?
Weird. I don't know.
Was it the greatest comeback of all time? Yeah, probably.
Wow.
Anyway, I love the shirtless JR era. And anyway, 7 out of 10. I don't know. We talked about it already. And then our last part of reviews, Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. That game came out, guys.
Okay.
Did you guys know it came out?
Now I know.
No.
Yep. Anyway, another Donovan review. He said, energetic Quidditch gameplay brings previously unseen Harry Potter locations to life. He said it lacks engaging content and the skill ceiling feels low, which is not great for a multiplayer game.
Right.
A lot of fans were like, why isn't this part of the other Harry Potter game? Like, it could have just been DLC, but I don't think that would have worked very well. It makes sense that they're doing this, but I'm also reminded that this is a Warner Brothers games joint, so we're just lucky when Warner Brothers does anything these days.
I mean, you could have just had an AI, like, minigame in the other Harry Potter title, right?
Hogwarts Legacy, you could have created some sort of arena for that, no doubt. But they're here to make money, and selling an individual game like this, and internally at Warner, they're focused on live service, but like the key to live service games is you have to make games that people want to come back to, and a low skill ceiling prevents that, or at least deters from that. So, not the worst game, not the best game. Got another 7 out of 10 at Shack News. It's not broken by any sense of the imagination. It just probably needs more stuff to really get people into it. I think that one's a Black Friday game. Like, I'm sure people will be getting that for Christmas at a discounted price. So those are the reviews. Wow, lots of reviews.
Yeah.
I bet there's more coming because we're in the middle of the busiest time of year for video game releases. So yeah, on to the quickies. Are you still playing Inquisition, Joe? No?
No, it's bad.
Well, get this. We got some preview content for the Dragon Age game that you're not going to play for another decade. The Veilguard.
It looks very good. I like.
Yeah.
I think it looks promising.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I know that IGN has the next month exclusive, though, or 2 months or something. So if you need any more content about Dragon Age the Veilguard, go to IGN, because we're not allowed to talk about it until it comes out now.
Wow.
But yeah, that's neat. They were also going to be the cover of Game Informer.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. Anyway, we got a lot of content on the site, so you can check out the videos. Greg did a live stream where he talked about the game earlier today. We're filming this or recording this on a Thursday. But yeah, there's a lot of Veilguard content out there. I don't know. We show off some of the locations you're going to go, some of the, gameplay mechanics. They do seem to have evolved the combat a little bit, Joe. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious. I'm curious to hear your impressions of this game on, I don't know, episode 400 or whatever. whenever you get around to it.
We'll see. Who knows? Maybe honestly, I think I'll probably watch Inquisition on YouTube, like some sort of recap or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I might play Veilguard this year. I might.
Really?
Unless the reviews are like horrible, then I won't.
No, I don't think everything that I've seen, it's not going to be a horrible game. I don't think so. I don't think BioWare can survive another bad game release. Like, they have to make a good video game. Speaking of good video games, Donovan got to go check out the updates coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, or like just new things. They're using Planet Zoo animal models in the game, so that's kind of neat. They're gonna let you rent other players' planes. That's pretty neat. And they're adding like a single player progression system. So there's like, so much of that game, like you just fire it up and you're like, I'm gonna do this today. Now they're like gonna kind of give you some prompts to see if there's something you want to do. But yeah, that looks kind of cool. The game's excellent. But these are quickies, so we're moving on. You guys anything to say about Flight Simulator? No? Okay.
No, not I.
I can't land. I suck at landing. I'm good at taking off. Cannot land.
Landing seems hard.
It's very hard.
It's such a beautiful game. It's so huge, though. It's like 100 gigs or something as far as, but it makes sense. And like I get the fanaticism if you're in that community. It's just it's very complex, obviously. Like you said,
well, I'm glad it exists.
We have
have it.
We have
for sure.
We have Jan who streams on Thursday nights for us, and he does like simulator games. This is one of his go-tos where he'll like do deliveries, and he's also like painted liveries for these planes. So there's like a Shack Air logo on it and stuff. So like the amount that when you do get into it, like the rabbit hole that you fall down is crazy. Cause like he has all those peripherals where he has a hands-on throttle and stick, but then he also has these like panels that mimic the panels in actual cockpits. So yeah, from a simulator standpoint, it's one of the best out there. But to your point, John, like it is almost overwhelming if you're a casual player and you walk into that game. But I think it's one of the best things Microsoft does these days. And I know I tend to talk shit about that company, but they're really talented devs over there still, and Asobo Studio is one of those. And they're just, yeah, I'm excited. It's good to get more Flight Sim content. It's funny because Flight Sim is such a retro game when you think about it, or at least the franchise. Like, it really pushed PC game development in the 90s even. So to see it here in 2024, it's still kind of cutting edge. It's just cool. And we should celebrate Microsoft when they make good things, because it's so rare. Speaking of companies that make things, HTC announced a VR hybrid headset. I guess it's AR VR. It has a stereoscopic camera on the front. It's called the HTC Vive Focused Vision, and it costs $999. It's a standalone device, but it also has the ability to plug in to a PC to be a PC VR headset as well. The $999 price target or price point seems high, but there are other headsets that cost $3,500 on the market that are almost identical.
Does have 90 hertz refresh rate, 120 field of view, and up to 5K resolution between displays per eye. I want a VR headset so bad. I want one. I haven't done any research, so I don't know what to get. I don't know what works with what. I don't know if purchasing one is going to limit my access to other games.
Yep.
And I want to play Half-Life Alyx again. I want to play it again because that game rules.
Yeah. I still don't think tetherless or untethered VR is going to be your best experience for Alyx. Like, in my opinion, the best way to play Alyx still is the Valve Index VR headset with their controllers, because that game was designed for those controllers.
Yeah.
So you can get it running on a Vision Pro. It's not the way to play it. I am curious how it would run on this Vive Focus Vision, because the other thing about these standalone devices is when you run a high performance game like that, the battery becomes a concern. So yeah. And then to your point earlier, Sam, are you cutting yourself off from game access? Yes. If you get an Oculus Quest 3, Meta Quest 3, it does limit you to that ecosystem. But it is the most vibrant ecosystem when it comes to games that are still coming out. So,
but presumably, if you get the Valve Index, you can play any of those games that are on Steam.
Yes, but not all of those games come out on Steam anymore because
true.
Facebook pays for exclusivity rights for a lot of those games.
Yeah.
So yeah, but to your point, there are a lot of great VR games that are on Steam. Superhot's on Steam. Tetris Effect, I think, is on Steam. But yeah, there are multi-platform VR games, but a lot of the smaller companies need the money for the exclusivity, or else they're not going to be able to afford to make these games. That's a whole other thing about the profitability and the viability of that whole industry, but I feel your pain. I honestly don't know. I'd say 10 years ago, I would give me any VR headset. I'll put it on my face. Now it's I don't want to play a pre-release VR game ever, because, and I've said this before, but I think this is the biggest impediment to VR. Simulator sickness is real, and when a game does that to you, you don't want to use VR for a while. And I can just say in the 10 years I've been covering VR at Shack News, I have played a lot of shitty VR builds, and I have gotten sick from it, and I just, as crappy as an Xbox game or a PlayStation game or whatever game can be, it doesn't make you violently ill. Whereas poor VR development can do that. So I don't know. It feels like we've been 5 years away from VR going mainstream for 20 years now. So I don't know what that catalyst would be. If Apple making a headset wasn't that catalyst, I don't know. Maybe no one wants this thing, or maybe the price. It's the experience that people want and the price that it costs, they're not lined up for us to hit critical mass yet, I don't think. But anyway, HTC still making things. And it's honestly probably a better option than the Vision Pro at this point, because the Vision Pro, to your point, Sam, that ecosystem is essentially dead when it comes to the games that are releasing on it. It's a lot of shovelware and crap. Also,
the price point, man, it's insane.
Yeah, but I also saw, what does that cost in Australia? $10,000?
Well, yeah, probably. Let's have a quick look. Apple Vision Pro.
So, I saw a game got released for Vision Pro, and it's it's a spooky game, and it's basically just a jump scare machine. And I'm how did we go from VR developers saying we're not going to put jump scares in these things to now it's a dedicated game for a VR headset?
Yeah.
This I've seen these commercials for Quest and stuff where they're oh my god, that's so intense, and they show the person take the headset off. That's not what you want to show at all. You want people in the headset in your commercial, not hey, this experience is so crazy, you're going to want to rip this thing off of your face. It's that's not good marketing. And I don't know. I'm extremely disappointed in Apple. I don't know.
$6,000 for one of their headsets in Australia.
$6,000.
Insanity. I could buy a car for that.
You could buy a badass PC and a VR headset.
Yeah.
That's what you should do. Maybe if, the company I'm waiting for to make a standalone headset is Valve. Because, man, if they did, it took all their learnings from Steam Deck and they made like a standalone VR headset, I would love that. Because Big Picture is a great OS, at least for, Deck. If they could adapt that for VR, that would be cool.
What do you mean standalone? Do you mean one that's not got a cable?
Correct. Standalone means it's a computer you wear on your head.
Oh, gotcha.
Whereas a tethered VR is just a head-mounted display that has a HDMI and a power plug, usually. Yeah. That's the difference. But yeah, because before it was like mobile phones that you were sliding into things and they would explode on your face. Now it's like its own thing. So yeah, Quest is a standalone device. Quest Pro is tethered, I think. I don't even know. Do they make a tethered VR headset at Facebook anymore? Hard to say. Hey guys, do you want remasters that shouldn't be remastered?
Yes, I do.
Sure.
Boy, do I have the news for you. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered has been officially rated by the ESRB.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Why do we need this?
Slow.
Brother.
This is slow by Sony standards.
Hasn't that game already been remastered or released again?
No. They did.
You tell me there was one version of Horizon Zero Dawn.
There's probably a Game of the Year edition or something.
Oh, is that what you meant? Well, yeah, there's like the DLC bundled edition.
Yeah.
Yes. That came out 2018 or something.
Yeah, they bundled it with consoles too at one point, I thought.
It sounds right.
Or it might have been GameStop, but either way. Yeah, it's coming. It's not Bloodborne.
But it's still not it's not publicly marketed yet, right?
No. This was a leak from a ESRB rating.
Right.
But yeah, we're moving on. Anyone excited to play Horizon Zero Dawn? I'm sorry.
I played it a year ago. Again.
Yeah,
to
that
completion.
was the second one.
No,
you played Zero Dawn. I forgot. Joe's on like an 8-year time delay. Sorry. You played Zero Dawn last year.
I played Zero Dawn for the second time last year, all the way through.
Wow.
What I'm excited for is that whenever anything Horizon comes out, From Software releases something. So hopefully means I get some sort of even just news from FromSoft. So
hasn't Nintendo kneecapped both Horizon releases? There was like
it was a FromSoft Elden Ring and then it was Nintendo
Switch. I think Nintendo Switch launched like a week after Horizon did in 2017. So yeah, they have really unfortunate timing with this stuff. So yeah, to Sam's point, we're probably going to get Bloodborne Remastered announced at Tokyo Game Show, and it'll completely overshadow this. But yeah, the Bloodborne fans are really pissed off at this point, and they have all right to be. What is that, a 10-year-old game at this point, Sam? That needs a remaster. That's the one that you take was it Blue Point, the people who did was the first one. What the hell's the one called?
Demon Souls.
Yeah, the one that I still can't get past the first level. That one.
Yeah.
Get those devs on Bloodborne, print money.
I think what you need to do at the moment at Sony, and this is totally off topic, but you brought up Blue Point, and I've been thinking about it for a while, is that you get Blue Point to remake the original Marathon trilogy of games. Get them to remake that, get some money out of that Bungie IP that you've purchased, and get some interest generated in this upcoming Marathon release.
That's
what I think. It's not a bad idea.
That's crazy talk. They're not going to do that.
But it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, they're gonna remaster The Last of Us 2 again instead. I don't know. We added a hat. Ellie has a hat now. Give us $70. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not buying the Horizon Zero Dawn remastered, so we don't even know when it's coming out. So Diablo 4, it's crossed $1 billion in sales.
That's a lot.
With 150 million coming. 150 million is coming from microtransactions, but yeah, that's why Microsoft paid so much for that Activision Blizzard deal. IP like this that can just, you snap your fingers and make $1 billion.
Like, I look, $150 million, I wish I had $150 mil. But that seems small compared to the $1 billion in sales. Like $150 million from microtransactions versus $850 million from what? The game and the season pass? Is that? Yeah, that I would have thought microtransactions would be bigger.
I guess it's not like a game that forces you into microtransactions as much as it's just a part of it.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like if you looked at the numbers for COD or something, I'm sure they'd look different.
Yeah.
But,
I'm just surprised. I thought it would be more.
I'm
Don't
with
worry,
you. And
Sam.
I think there's a long, I mean, we've only had, Diablo's been out a year. And I think, we had 10 years of Diablo 3 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that number will catch up over time, is your point.
Yeah, and then some, I would think.
Kind of like GTA Online, where like at first everyone bought GTA 5, and then what is it? How many years removed are we from that thing? And they're still making hundreds of millions every quarter. Yeah, so I think it could be like that, Sam, where we're just early.
Sure, for sure. I'm just saying it's a Blizzard title in one of the most renowned franchises, and 150 million in microtransaction sales. I'm just saying I'm surprised at that figure. I would have thought it would be more. Yeah.
No, I don't know.
I agree.
That seems like a lot of money to me.
Again, 150 million, that's a lot of money. But when you're talking about these massive multi-billion-dollar corporations with these massive franchises, yeah.
You know what? They're going to shut down Blizzard because of this.
Yeah.
They're disappointed. We're disappointed by our $1 billion because we have to buy back $60 billion of stock. Speaking of buying things, AMD has reportedly secured PS6 chip development. Yeah. So as PS5 Pro shocks the world with its price point, we are already hearing about PS6, and it sounds like they're going to keep the AMD framework for their next system. And this is just another loss for Intel in a series of losses for Intel. John, remember back in 2000? Do you remember the year 2000, John?
I do.
Do you remember
Vaguely.
Intel was one of the largest companies on earth?
I remember hearing about Intel.
It was Cisco and Intel were like, and Microsoft, oddly enough. But like those were the three biggest tech companies. Intel is in the toilet now. We're talking about like they need the government to broker deals for them because what's going on is they cannot make chips at a profit in the United States. So they're like hat in hand asking for help from the, various administrations. So yeah, they're, in 2000 at the peak, I believe Intel was valued at $500 billion. They're currently trading for $90 billion. And you want to ask yourself, well, where did the money go? Two companies, NVIDIA, which is valued at like $3 trillion or something, and AMD. Nobody on earth thought AMD would be eating Intel's lunch, but here we are. AMD is now valued at $250 billion. They're almost 3 times the size of Intel now. That's crazy. It's a series of terrible management decisions by people who no longer even work in Intel because they've been fired. But talk about missing out on like multiple huge secular trends. Like they used to have a stake in ARM Holdings. They sold it and they got out of making these processors at a time where now Apple licenses from ARM, Qualcomm licenses from ARM, NVIDIA uses ARM. It's like all of these things inside of our favorite devices are ARM processors, and Intel missed that entirely. And then they're behind on data center, and they're behind on this AI, push that's going on right now.
Sure.
So it's just another loss for Intel. The PS6 will be running on an AMD chip. So there's petty, and there's Nintendo petty. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, the fact that we're already talking about the PS6 might surprise some people, but these consoles have a 7-year life cycle, and the PlayStation 5 launched coming up on 4 years ago, like in 2020. So it's just, it's time has stretched in a weird manner.
I also think it's like these semi companies, Sam, like AMD and NVIDIA, are so focused on building out capacity for their AI stuff that you have to get in front of them earlier if you're a game company, because it used to be gaming revenue was a big deal to both AMD and NVIDIA. That's just not the case anymore. It's like I think in the case of NVIDIA, it's like 10% of revenue comes from gaming now, whereas like go back in time, 15 years ago, what was NVIDIA? It was the GPU company for games. Now it's like, it's been a crypto company. It's been a computer vision company. Now it's the AI data center company. Now they're accelerated computing company. So it's wild to see how gaming drove a lot of the innovation that we're seeing, but now we're in the back seat because AI is here. I want to get to this other story though. There's petty, and then there's Nintendo lawyer petty. This lawsuit, The Pokemon Company and Nintendo file a lawsuit against Palworld parent company Pocket Pair Incorporated. I don't know. We've been talking. we said this when the game came out. We're like, how long until Nintendo sues? So what I think's interesting here is they're not suing for copyright infringement. They're suing for patent infringement. Just strange. The Pokemon Company said, "We have not granted any permission for the use of Pokemon intellectual property or assets in that game. We intend to investigate and take appropriate measures to address any acts that infringe on intellectual property rights related to Pokemon." That was the statement that they made in January.
Right.
And then, today, the lawsuit yesterday night, so Wednesday here, this lawsuit seeks an injunction against infringement and compensation for damages on the grounds that Palworld, a game developed and released by the defendant, infringes multiple patent rights.
What are these patents?
Nintendo has so many patents for game design, gameplay mechanics. You know the loading screen in Tears of the Kingdom that shows you the map and then it shows you where you're going from where you were?
Yeah.
They patented that.
Like
they have patents for everything. These things aren't always defensible, is my point. Because sometimes it's like, hey, these need to be used for the best practices thing. So I'm not sure if it's the evolution mechanic or what, but there's something inside of Pokemon games that Nintendo has published alongside with Pokemon that they feel is being infringed upon.
And I guess if you have these patents, it's your responsibility as well to have lawsuits go out if you detect any wrongdoing.
Now, here's my tinfoil hat. I'm going to place it on my head right now. So yesterday, before this news broke, there were a ton of rumors all around the internet about this Nintendo Switch 2, right? And here's the specs for the Switch 2, here's what it's going to look like, this, that, and the other. I think Nintendo did this to distract from that. Or maybe they were so pissed that the leak happened that they were like, go sue Palworld. But why now? Did it really take that many months? Because this game released in early access in January, right? Like, it took them almost 9 months to come up with this. So either it took them 9 months, and
like with the lawsuit itself, like it took them 9 months. You're saying? Yeah. I mean, but they can't just like dash off a lawsuit per se, right? I think Nintendo's like, it seems like they really were trying to get them on an elemental level, you know. Like
their
not
lawyers
just
are good. Like they're not going to bring a lawsuit unless they think they can win it. So like I get that, but it's just, is Palworld even that popular anymore? No,
I don't think so. Yeah.
It just felt odd that of all days, yesterday, when Nintendo Switch 2 is trending on Elon Musk's platform and everyone's talking about it, this came out. So I thought that was just kind of interesting.
14,000 people currently playing Palworld on Steam.
How many?
14,000.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
More than people playing Concord right now. Good. So speaking of misinformation and Elon Musk being a douchebag, California Governor Gavin Newsom signs an election misinformation bill banning the sharing of election deepfakes in the state.
Oh, good. Elon Musk is against he's for regulations on AI, so he should be behind that, right, Asif?
Yeah, except he's not. He's a free speech absolutionist, right? So he is upset. Well, he actually deleted a tweet. The guy never deletes tweets. He deleted a tweet where he said, "Why hasn't anyone tried to assassinate the president or Kamala Harris?"
Terrorism?
It's like, hey, why isn't anyone doing this? That's inciting. It's treasonous and it's inciting violence. And he deleted it.
What?
And he is being investigated by the Secret Service and the FBI right now. That's not great.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. And Elon Musk has been, I don't know, I think, Sam, you're probably the most active person here besides me on Twitter. Elon Musk is sharing hate speech, Nazi propaganda, and a bunch of fake stuff about Springfield, Ohio. How the fuck, I know this is an aside, how the fuck is Springfield, Ohio the center of the discussion on immigration in the United States? How the fuck did that happen? That's insane. They went from building a wall to now the ducks in Springfield, Ohio. Anyway, it's incredibly hard to tell what's real and what's not on the internet right now, especially on social media. And I think this is good. I think that we desperately need AI regulation before it gets even more out of hand in this country. But the fact that Elon Musk is not just allowing it, He's amplifying it in an election season. Super messed up. And there's all this stuff about there's a whole gang of conservative influencers who got outed over the last week for taking money from Russian oligarchs and basically getting talking points from them. So yeah, if you see some really staunchly conservative podcaster, he might be taking money from Russia, and he might not know a damn thing about Ohio, because Ohio was, just real quick, Ohio was where the Underground Railroad popped out. That's where free slaves ended. They got out of the South and they got their ass to Ohio. So attacking a bunch of immigrants and black people in the state of Ohio is not going to work well. Just going to throw it out there. Speaking of idiot billionaires, Ryan Cohen, CEO of GameStop, got fined a little less than $1 million for breaking the law. He did not properly disclose purchases of Wells Fargo's stock. He had 562,000 shares that under regulation HSR he was supposed to file, and he got penalized $43,000 a day for the lack of disclosure. Now that's a lot of money, but not to that guy. He's a billionaire. It's just unfortunate that like an individual who did this, who isn't a billionaire, would probably be ruined. But this is like a speeding ticket for this guy. So yeah, he's terrible. And just another example of like a lawless billionaire who's out of control and doesn't really know what the hell he's doing. They also announced that in their most recent earnings results, they've authorized another 20 million shares to be issued whenever they feel like it. So they've diluted shareholders twice this year. Once on the day that Roaring Kitty became a billionaire, and then another time like right at the week after. So everyone is out there that's like, oh, the mother of all short squeezes is and no, it's not. He fucked you. Ryan Cohen fucked the GameStop movement, and they're still worshiping him because they're idiots. But yeah, I've been very, very transparent about how I feel about this stock and why I thought it was an interesting story. I can tell you now, I don't find it that interesting because the short interest has plummeted. I think there are better short squeeze candidates in the market than GameStop, and everyone in their scene says, oh, it's the only play. It's 10% shorted. When it squeezed in 2021, it was over 100% shorted. My point is like, it's kind of done. The big whoosh upwards, the whoosh down, followed by another one this year. It's over. The only thing left is now, will this company survive? What does it turn into? They have $4.2 billion of cash on their balance sheet. So that's a little bit of a cushion, but I don't think this move to retro games is going to do shit. I saw a video about how they're paying people for their Pokemon cards. It's GameStop pricing, but for Pokemon cards. They're paying like 30% less than market value for Pokemon cards. And then they're turning around and selling them for market value. See how long that works. And then, I mentioned it when they shut down Game Informer. I just think it's it highlights a lack of understanding of what you own if you shut down Game Informer. Because ask any game developer, that cover meant something. It was like a value proposition. And to just shut it down and to take the write down as opposed to trying to sell it, that's just insane to me. Not to mention his Ryan Cohen's transphobic Twitter account where he still has I'm just going to copy it and paste it into the general chat so you guys can see what I'm talking about. That's his avatar on Twitter right now. And he's clearly making fun of people who have transitioned and all sorts of things. He's just a troll at this point.
That's brutal. Wow.
Yeah, I cannot stand him. So anyway, yeah, fuck that guy. But yeah, like $1 million like to him means
30
nothing.
Years old, by the way?
I don't know. I think he's a little bit older. I want to say
very, very
like,
youthful look.
Well, that picture.
No, I don't mean that picture. I mean real photos of him.
Yeah, he's 38.
Okay.
He's not like, I wouldn't say that's young, but I guess for a CEO of a company, sure. For a billionaire, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's apparently his net worth's at $4 billion right now, but also they have $4 billion of cash on hand. So that's it. Those are all the stories. We did it. My God. Wow. Yeah. We have a few questions and comments from the Shack News community over in our community notes section, which you can join our community by heading over to shacknews.com/chatty or by emailing us at, I don't know, how about sam.chandler@shacknews.com.
Do it. Get it done. I'll read it.
Nice.
Sam will read it. So Haas Mamu on YouTube, a prolific YouTube commenter, must I say, said, Cleveland Browns are the Microsoft of the NFL. Now, I disagree with this. Microsoft has had wins.
That's funny. That's good. Yeah.
Brutal.
That's all I got to say about that. And then Roast Beef, spelled ROSTB33F, asked the question to the chatty, which, by the way, I maintain might be the best place on the internet to ask a question these days. Said, what console have you had hooked up the longest? It doesn't have to be hooked up now, and PCs don't count. But what's that console that's been plugged in the longest in your history of gaming?
I know
That's
your
a good
answer,
question.
Asif. I think it's
my
your
answer?
Wii U. It's your
I
Wii U,
mean,
right? What, are you on 12 years now?
There were some times where the Wii U wasn't plugged in. I moved. I've moved twice. I've moved several times since the Wii U was released.
Breaking your streak.
Unfortunately, like when I moved across the country, I had to unplug my Wii U. I'm sorry, Joe. I did.
It wasn't
when
like
I got
that
here,
Frogger.
No. But when I got here, I plugged it back in. Does that mean anything?
I think that counts because it was, your intention was to leave it plugged in. That counts.
And then the ultimate troll by Nintendo, they released F-Zero X for the Wii U Virtual Console the week before Switch came out. So I was playing F-Zero X on my gamepad for a week before the Switch came out. And then they didn't release that on Switch Online for years. So yeah, I'm going to say... And also, like, I think back to, like, my earliest days, like, I got grounded a lot, and I don't know if John, do you remember this? Like, your parents would just, like, take the console and, like, lock it in a closet?
Yeah, usually the console, or at least the one cable.
The cable, right? Like, oh yeah, the power cable, and you just have your console sitting there with
the cable. Yeah, my mom would just take it to work with her. That would be very disappointing.
So, like, that used to happen to me a lot, Joe. So, like, my NES, and I wouldn't say the NES, I wouldn't say my SNES, because that was that carrot my parents were using to get me to do schoolwork or whatever. So I wouldn't say it was an NES or SNES. N64, I was kind of in high school, and I was at a boarding school where we weren't allowed to have television, so we didn't have an N64 in my school until my senior year, and then we had to hide it.
Sure.
Do you remember TV cards for PCs? That was the whole thing. Trying to think. I'm gonna say it was my GameCube.
Okay.
Because I stayed at the same place for like 2 years in Ann Arbor. Yeah, I think it was my GameCube.
I don't have like a fun answer here. It's probably like the PS1, which just perpetually was in the basement at my parents. Something like probably like a 10-year. Yeah, something like that.
Because GameCube I think might still be plugged in the basement here.
Whoa.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I think it's gone. I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's my GameCube though when I was in college. But the problem is, like, I move around a lot. So, like, all right, before the pandemic, I moved around a lot.
I think the spirit of the question is not like literal consecutive hours plugged or days or months or years plugged, but like it survived the transition to the next console. Like, that's why I think about like your Wii U. It's like the Switch came out, but you didn't immediately sunset that. I think that's the spirit of the question.
My Wii U is on my desk right now. The gamepad is plugged in because that battery is terrible now. But yeah, my Wii U and my USB drive for my Wii U still plugged in. It is right next to my 360 that's also still plugged in. So maybe 360 might be an answer here too.
That sounds right.
I think 360 might be the real answer here.
I think 360 is because I was thinking probably Nintendo, like even N64, GameCube, but 360 was like that was a mainstay for quite a while. Yeah,
that was my Halo 3 machine. That was my Gears of War machine. Even my original Xbox, I played the hell out of that thing because think about Halo 1 and 2 on that thing.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, I want to give some love to the Xboxes.
But I'll say 360 was pretty quietly influential and always there,
always plugged in because it was like, hey, we're playing 1 versus 100, let's get in there. Hey, we're playing Gears, get in there.
I think the online aspect of it, like that being the first one that really mattered as much as because Xbox, I guess, Dreamcast a little bit, but it felt like 360 was the one that you kind of needed to be plugged in because it was also a social thing. It wasn't. It was the first time that it was like social no
It
matter
was all
where
out
you
of the
are.
box. Yeah.
Yeah, this is great.
You don't have to wait for Xbox Live like you did with the OG Xbox launch.
Seeing a lot of 360 answers in the chatty thread. Some people mentioned Wii. That was not me. I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I played the Wii when those games were there, but then like I would say after Mario Galaxy 2, I kind of fell off that system fast. Yeah, 360 I think is my answer if I really thought about it. But right now the most plugged in system I have is my Wii U. But I have a feeling, I mean, Nintendo Switch is up there. It is. Because what, it's been 8 years almost?
Yeah, if you're getting into the semantics of it, of actual plugged in, Switch is.
I would say it's probably 360, Wii U, Switch, then GameCube for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, we played the fuck out of 360. We were playing all those games.
We did,
played
like constantly.
I think we played Halo 3 beta more than we played Halo 3.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Halo
Dude,
3
it was
beta
awesome.
Yeah.
The beta was available for like a weekend. What are you talking about? There's no.
I don't know.
No, I don't remember that.
It was longer than that.
Was
I
it?
thought it was longer than that. But for Halo 3, no, we played the heck out of that. I thought Gears of War was the one.
Maybe I played Halo 3, fine. I maybe combined, we played a lot of Halo 3, Sam. I feel like it was longer than a weekend. And then,
I think so, because wasn't it like, you bought Crackdown and you got it or something?
Mhm.
You got access to it, yeah.
But it wasn't for a weekend. Like,
no, it was more than a weekend.
I thought it was longer.
So phase 1 was from the 22nd to the 26th of January.
That's it?
And then they had phase 2, then phase 3 in Crackdown.
Lovely.
All I know is that we played a lot of Halo 3 on there, and then Gears came out, and then Gears 1, 2, 3, Horde mode for all of them. I think Gears 3 is probably my most played Xbox game of all time.
Shit ton of Gears.
Yeah. And then we were playing Forza on there. Whatever else, any of those. I bring back 1 versus 100. We played a lot of. So yeah, I'd say 360 is probably my number one, and PS3 is the record for shortest amount of time I had anything plugged in. Because when that thing got hacked and I lost my credit card on the day of the Super Bowl, I was pretty pissed. I never played the PlayStation 3 again. Yeah. I got this call from my bank. They're like, hey, there have been 1,500 transactions on your credit card in the last hour. I'm like, yeah, that's not good. And I just turned off the PlayStation and never looked back. So I missed out on a lot of those Souls games and stuff because I was just pissed off at Sony. That's it, though. That was a good question, though. Nice thread there by Roast Beef. That's it. We did it. My God.
Wow.
We did it, you guys. That's going to do it for today's show. Subscribe on your podcast app of choice and tune in every Friday for more Shack Together. Or just go on YouTube Shorts and interact with that one vertical video I posted. It's pretty sweet. That's it. Thanks for joining us, Sam. I know it's early.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Congrats
thanks,
again, Sam.
Yeah, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
And then, good job, Joe, on the whole production of that game. That was fun. But definitely easier than the last time.
Especially when Sam... I mean, that was an expert maneuver where he's just saying Final Fantasy before you even really say anything.
Yeah,
I was hoping that might be a good game to play too. Like, what game am I thinking of? Just, why not?
No, he has to write it down so that we can at least hold him accountable, right? Write down a game and then be like, I'm thinking of this game. Hold it up to his head.
Right.
I'm thinking of the game. What is it? And then he flips the card over. Joe, save this for the Shack Together Battle Royale later this year.
For next time.
Yeah,
Joe's planning a Battle Royale for the big end of year celebration. So that might be a good
We got to do something big in December. We're working on it. It's in pre-production right now.
Nice one. Nice.
But yeah, if you made it this far into the podcast, you probably like us. So go to your local podcast facility and vote for Shack Together. Let the internet know that you want us to represent podcasts at the next debate or whatever.
That's right. There's one on every corner.
There are a lot of podcast facilities these days.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw that Jason Kelsey and Travis Kelsey sold their podcast for some licensing deal for tens of millions of dollars.
If they can get tens of millions, surely we can get one. Let's work on that.
Yep. All we have to do is be wronged by Ryan Cohen and sue him. No, that's for another episode. Anyway, thanks for joining us. That'll do it. John, thanks for coming by. Always a pleasure
to
have you here. And hopefully you'll play something other than 2K this weekend.
Hey, Astrobot served me well for 20 something hours. So
Yeah.
You need another Astrobot.
There are games out there that I think you will be playing.
We will get there.
Yeah, there are games. There are video games coming. I don't know if you guys know. It's this time of year. There are video games coming like a freight train. Yeah, that'll do it. Thanks for listening, everybody. This is where we wave at the camera, even though we're not recording. We say thank you. We'll never forget you.
Bye.
Bye.
And then the music hits.
Shack Together is a Shack News production.
Shack Together is a Shack News production.
Shack Together is a Shack News production.
Shack News is a multimedia company consisting of a variety of entertainment properties, including ShackNews.com, video game and cutting-edge technology coverage with evergreen video, guide, and long-read content, providing readers and viewers with the latest reviews, previews, interviews, and news. Shack News content is readable and viewable at ShackNews.com, Facebook, YouTube at Shack News Interviews, and Shack News VODs, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Shack News Media, Twitch, and more. But that's not all. You can play Bubbletron, our first video game. Combine 3 ideas, hit the market, and get your money hat. Bubbletron is a daily game in the style of Wordle, where players can launch a company and see its valuation instantly. Hit that high score and brag to your friends. Visit Bubbletron.com to play. There is no download required, no signups required, but if you are into app downloads, we have the cutest one on the planet. It's called Shack Pets, the ultimate battle for cuteness. Swipe your pets to victory on iOS and Android in this Tinder-like app for pets. Shack News is proud to present a variety of micro products, all available for free at ShackNews.com. Cortex is a publishing platform available to all of our users. Shouts is a Twitter replacement in a time where Twitter really needs replacing. And Reader, an RSS reader that won't get shut down by Google anytime soon. You can import YouTube, subreddits, all sorts of cool stuff, even podcast feeds. And lastly, all of our products are completely free to use and play, so if you're a fan of what we're doing and want to support the Shack News ecosystem, head over to shacknews.com/Mercury. Mercury offers subscribers access to exclusive Shack News swag like hoodies and VIP access to our long reads in downloadable format. It's a great way to support us. There's different tiers, and you get a lightning bolt next to your name.